I am experiencing eye movements, head movements, body movements, swaying, different breathing patterns, strange sounds emanating from the mouth, facial muscle twitching, pain in the lower back, aroused root chakra, and pleasant fragrances. The latest development is lots of yawning happening during meditation. I sleep during the day, which I never used to do earlier. It was tough to fall asleep at night if I slept during the day. But nowadays, I get sleepy around 9 p.m. and sleep well like a baby, despite sleeping during the day.
Kriyas are happening perfectly well as they are supposed to. There is nothing abnormal or strange. Even the sleeping cycles are known to get impacted after Shaktipat.
Sharing some of my experiences from today's meditation. I was experiencing that my body was moving from left to right, not physically, but some shift like movement was experienced. And also, as if I was in a semi consciousness state. I could see some face like images and felt I was about to sleep. Then I bring my consciousness back. And after that, I felt like something from my body, maybe soul or I don't know, was dragged to the upper side. What kind of experiences are these? A lot of energy was released from my body. And also felt jerks twice or three times, as if a vehicle was getting started. Rest is the same as vibration. And calmness on the crown chakra was experienced, and also vibration on the third eye.
They are all Kriyas only. All sorts of such Kriyas will take place in the future too, and it will go on for a few years. Yes, even the floating kind of experience is also common. Some of our practitioners have been reporting it regularly. Jerk like movement, as if a vehicle has been started, is the most typical sign of Kundalini awakening. Therefore, don't worry about it at all. In fact, you should be happy that your cleaning of karma has begun rapidly. Since you have been newly initiated recently, that's why you might be feeling that way.
I need more insight into the statement in your book. The mind is humiliated for the first time and is forced to look inward.
The terminal objective of all yoga systems is to make the mind still, devoid of any thoughts. However, this doesn't mean self realization. It just means that the mind has completely surrendered. That's all. A thin layer of illusion or the Maya is still enveloped around the infinite spirit within. The practitioner is not yet immersed in pure consciousness. Awareness of the body is still present in such circumstances. As a result, non duality is still not experienced. Therefore, the mind doesn't go anywhere. It is still there, although still, but it experiences absolute bliss in such a state. It has no other function. Some people don't opt for final salvation and would like to remain that way forever. Since the mind is still, breath comes to a standstill. With that, all biological process come to a halt. The idea of time is removed. As a result, the practitioner is effectively out of the dimension of space time. That means all the laws of physical sciences break down or are no longer applicable, but still no final salvation or self realization. What happens from this moment on can't be explained by yoga texts because their jurisdiction is only till the mind becomes standstill. Final salvation is obviously under the divine will. Nothing is known about this final journey of the soul. At some point, the final merger with God is effected and the spirit quits the body. However, some gentlemen have defied these laws and remained in the body, and you all know who those gentlemen were. Hence, in my first book, The Power Unknown to God, I wrote that I couldn't comment any further on such gentlemen. Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Mahavir Jain, Jesus, Muhammad, Guru Nanak, and others who were hailed as the divine incarnations. I'm also like you right now, struggling for my salvation. I'm also within the parameters of cosmic illusion.
Today at 1 a.m. night, I got up for meditation as I could not sleep due to a pleasant sensation in my head. I started doing one of the Kriya Yoga practices. When I reached the Anahata Chakra, an involuntary Yam mantra chanting started for about 10 minutes. I could not hold my tears. The whole body was charged. All the hair follicles on the body were standing, and the hair on the skull suddenly moved as if someone had touched me. This broke my concentration, and I had to open my eyes. I felt the presence of external beings or some spirits many times.
There is nothing to fear. Whatever happened to you is all kriyas. However, please try not to stop the kriyas while they are happening. Regarding your question about the external spirits, etc., all your fear related karma were getting cleaned. Otherwise, there's nothing to worry about it at all. Please continue with your practice the same way.
Is it possible to experience some divine soul in the body, as I have today, and feel like someone touches my hands? Then after some time, I felt like some divine soul had entered my body, and I was taking a breath only from my heart. The peacefulness and an urge to sit in that state were there. I had been sitting for an hour and a half without awareness of the body, with no movement. I just woke up in shock when my doorbell rang.
This is not due to any divine entity beings present in your body. It is the awakened Kundalini energy only. Sometimes people experience that kind of kriyas as if someone had touched their body. It is a common kriya. But kindly don't stop your practice and open your eyes during that time. Just silently keep observing the phenomena like a mute spectator. There is no need to worry about it at all. In fact, you should be happy about experiencing the kriyas.
I have a question. Has anyone reported that they blacked out completely? I am trying to figure out if the throbbing inside the head and forehead is a medical condition or due to meditation. I blacked out a little while back today, sweating profusely and my head throbbing.
It is a common kriya that occurs in the cerebral region. A person feels he or she is about to black out at any time, but for a few seconds. It happens indeed sometimes, but it will not cause any adverse effects. That means it will not occur while you are driving, etc. The all knowing cosmic energy protects you all the time. We have no record of any adverse effects experienced by anyone in our Shaktipat order.
Shaktipat initiation happened for me today at 7 a.m. Though instantly, I could not feel anything. Now I am experiencing some heaviness in my head.
Please don't worry about it at all. They are kriyas only. They will not harm you in any way. Heaviness in the head is a very common reaction. It occurs whenever the cosmic energy faces strong opposition inside the mind in the form of strong karmas or sensual impressions. As a result of this internal battle raging inside, the reaction is experienced as heaviness in the head. You may experience this sensation intermittently once in a while, but over a prolonged duration, maybe a few years in some cases. But it will not have any adverse effects on your health. You just need to endure it. This is for your own good.
I would like to share the experiences of my second day of sadhan. I was able to remain in meditation for a little over 2 hours. I had visions of three things. I felt but not very clear. A dormant snake from a distance but not moving, just lying on the ground, a single eye, countless flowers of orange at a distance, and fire at an enormous scale like a field on fire, but not very clear. Body movements, a lot of asanas and hand mudra, which changed from clasping to Gyan mudra and then to other types, a lot of bandhas, richakas, purakas, muladhara bandha, udyan, and jalandhar bandhas, several times, chakri like motion like asana, lying down bandhas, hard breathing, etc. But I wonder if this is my own doing or coming involuntarily. Since I knew and practiced 85% of it earlier, it could come subconsciously as well. I did experience a few new body movements that I never did. I need your guidance regarding how the Shakti communicates and how to understand what it wants you to do under Kriya. At times, I get confused about what is next.
Okay, please don't worry about it too much. You will get the answer yourself as time progresses. There is a fragile line of differentiation between Kriya and Karma. For example, it is called Kriya if you move your hand involuntarily. Otherwise, if you move it voluntarily, it is obviously Karma. In our path, you are not supposed to commit fresh karma. Therefore, you are the best judge. However, the awakened Kundalini energy will grant you the required understanding. Therefore, please continue with your practice the same way.
I have started hearing some Sanskrit mantras during my meditation today.
While in meditation, specific audio related kriyas sometimes take place, like hearing some Sanskrit verses or in some other languages the practitioner has never learned. Sometimes practitioners themselves start singing in those unknown languages. It is a phenomenon that defies all rational explanations by modern science. Another practitioner has undergone such kriyas today in the morning. A Hindi poem got composed in mind, although the practitioner doesn't know how to write poetry. Later in the day, during another meditation session, a Sanskrit verse was composed in the same practitioner's mind.
I have just done sadhan and had a singular experience I'd like to share with you. The last few days during sadhan, I have been making sounds while shaking and nodding my head fast, sometimes accompanied by rapid hand movements. Today the sounds were more like a guttural chant. Part of me wanted to giggle as it was happening bizarrely. Then suddenly, a deep male voice came from my mouth chanting in a language I'd never heard, with particular hand movements like shaking a rattle or something. The words medicine man came to my awareness. This happened a couple of times during sadhan. I'm not attaching anything to it, nor will I hold any expectation of its return. My gut feeling is that I need to start learning Sanskrit and reciting or doing japa. What is your opinion? I'm unsure where this feeling is from, Kriya Shakti or the mind. Egoism in mind, I mean, that is trying to distract me, perhaps. It could be based on my experience in sadhan, especially with sounds emanating from my mouth, which I have not previously learned. Also, speaking involuntarily in some sort of language happens with my tongue, which I don't even understand. That's where my interest is coming from, I suppose.
They are all kriyas only. There is no need to ponder over them. If you are inclined to chant some sound during the session of sadhan, then do it because it is also deemed a kriya only. There is no need as such to learn Sanskrit. All these inclinations are kriyas only due to past accumulated karmas. In the past life, you must have had some sort of solid relationship with Sanskrit and reciting of mantras. Long ago, I asked the same question my Guruji, His Holiness, regarding myself. His Holiness told me there was no need because I would only be wasting my time. Of course, His Holiness was right. From a yoga point of view, technically it is not required. Unnecessarily, you will start accumulating new karma. However, there is a catch here. Your inspiration to learn Sanskrit comes from past accumulated karmas. That means it seems to be a kriya, implying that you are not supposed to stop it either. Knowledge of Sanskrit and mantras will help you in the future if you decide to write any book. Therefore, you can certainly learn the Sanskrit alphabet. However, you don't need to waste time trying to master the language as such. It seems it's a kriya for you right now. Let's see what happens in the future. There is no harm in learning the alphabet of Sanskrit at least. Please focus on the pronunciation of Sanskrit sounds correct. Although such knowledge is technically not required from a yoga point of view, the aim is to gain insight into the knowledge of tattvas or elements. That amounts to supernatural powers which we are discussing here. But that's a big no for sadhaks to focus on because it will immediately stop their spiritual growth. Therefore, one has to be very careful in venturing into such a field. Strict discipline is necessary. Otherwise, the mind may get tricked into such a path without a sadhak realizing it. Therefore, your interest in learning Sanskrit and doing japa or chanting needs to be done in a controlled environment. This is very crucial. Not doing it at all also will not solve the problem of burning down karmas either. So it is a delicate path to tread. I don't know how much you are inspired right now about this, but please remember not to go overboard